What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Bitcoin today, BTC USD. It is the 26th day of March, and here we are sitting at about $69.3 thousand with roughly 11 and a half hours left in the day. Hit that like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. Let's get into it, okay? Let's talk about the price here. We are moving down. We're down about 2.8% on the day so far. A little bit of volume's coming in. I'm on the wrong... I was looking at the long-term stuff for a second. We are moving down a little bit. My expectations here have been, and still might be, we'll see. This might actually be the perfect level to go long. We're going to look at the short-term stuff here in a second. I might even make a trade while we're making this video. You guys won't see it, but I'll just let you know if I do. The idea was we'd go up to the golden ratio and then drop, or to the 786, 886 and then drop. That was the idea. Was that's what we see. And inevitably, I am expecting that we see a lower low here. I know that the bears are telling you we're going to do this. The bulls are telling you we're going to do this. But I'm thinking we're going to do this, that, and the other thing. That's what it's going to be. We're just moving sideways. And sideways is the official stance that I'm taking until about another month and a half from now. Until sometime in May, if not even, and I think it's very possible, very probable, June. And whenever June comes along, I think we will break out to the downside, or maybe even we could be in this range until July and not be breaking out until July. But I do think things will take a more bearish turn in June. We'll get into that as we get closer to May, as we get closer to the end of April. But right now, I want to just keep things focused on the short-term stuff. That's really what I'm interested in talking about now, because I'm very curious to see if this is a moment to buy. I'm sure a lot of people are looking at this fearfully right now. Emotions are so high. It's crazy. We let a 5%, less than 5% move up in one day convince people that we're going to 100K. And I wouldn't be surprised if this less than 3% move down is convincing people that we're going to 50K. You know what I mean? Like people are so emotional in this range. And we've just maintained the same stance this whole time. And it's worked out for the last 2 months so far, is that we're moving sideways. Every pump will get dumped into, no need to be emotional. Every dump will get pumped into, no need to be emotional. So let's not be emotional here, guys. Okay? If you're feeling emotional, do a couple of those. Take a deep breath in and out. 1 hour time frame. Looking at this here, we're on the Binance chart. Yeah, you're moving down. Moving down, not a whole lot of volume. Not really a whole lot of volume at all, man. When you moved up, there's a good bit of volume. And there's little spikes of volume here, but it's not really that much volume. You're really just kind of at the same area that you were before, looking to find support. You're doing the same thing over here. Bitcoin, I think the market makers have caught on to the fact that we've caught on to them, right? We know that they like to do this thing where they give us just a slightly higher high and then we sell off. But hold up, to the downside, that's also normally what happens. You get the slightly lower low and then you move up. But I've noticed a couple of times here over the last week that it'll look like we're about to get a lower low, but instead we keep that slightly higher low and we move up, or we look like we're about to get that higher high and then move down, but we just move down instead of getting that higher high. Sometimes that happens too. So a little bit, they're pulling out more tricks. All I'm trying to say, it's very possible that this is the low and that we move up from here. We could go lower. Let's look at the indicators. Not really getting a read off the 1 hour time frame. All I know is that we're in the oversold zone. We've been in the oversold zone before. We've been in the oversold zone before. And this is the first attempt right here. Came multiple attempts afterwards. Let's see what that looked like. Well, here you were oversold. Was that the end of the move? No. No, it wasn't. It was about halfway through, right? If we were to draw this move from a high to a low, you're about halfway through right there. Right? The low's over here, the high's over here. Not the high, but just like the beginning of the move. You're about halfway through. Here, whenever you got oversold, probably about the same thing. You're about halfway through. So here, could we be halfway through? Yeah. I mean, we could be slowly moving down to like 67, 66, 65K. Sure. I'm not so convinced, but that's just what we did the last couple of times, Near the low of this move, probably not going to see anything erratic, but maybe lower still. Let's see. Stochastics are oversold. crossing up, looking like they want to come up. You're bearish, but there's bullish prospects there. The 1 hour MACD has crossed below the 0. You took this really good thing that you did, which was crossing above it, bouncing off of it, and you soiled it. You did nothing with it. No volume came in, no breakout, no nothing. So this bounce was all for naught. Now we're actually crossing through the 0. We could still find support here, but I don't know. I do think there's more to go. We might see a little bit of neutrality today. Maybe we have a red weekend. We'll see, because it is Thursday. 4 hour time frame. The RSI is truly neutral here in what has been a very, very neutral range. Very, very neutral range here. We've got a very neutral reading. We do have lower lows in the RSI. We have higher lows. Do we? No, we don't. We have lower lows in the price. Yes, they're higher lows here, but lower lows from a closing point. That's what I'm saying. Stochastics are oversold. And the MACD, man, you just crossed above the 0. And you tried building bullish momentum 2 separate times, but you failed. You actually just gave yourself bearish divergence. And now we're crossing back down. I would consider this like projecting the 0, depending on how much this develops. And I think it will continue to develop. So I am thinking that we go lower. I could be wrong, though, man. Let's see. We've got the potential here for like an inverse head and shoulders pattern. The only thing is, and maybe not an inverse head and shoulders, but an inverse head and shoulders look like. The only thing is, this shoulder is smaller than this shoulder is, right? This shoulder is a little bit bigger. So I don't know if it would be considered an inverse head and shoulders at this point from anybody with a brain. Maybe. I mean, the right shoulder can be bigger. I've seen it happen. It's not common. But to this extent, I don't know. I suppose it's feasible, but we'd have to like move up right now. And again, the point that I'm trying to make here is that if we do move up, we're not going to move up by much. If we do move down, we're not going to move down by much. We're just going to move sideways. So we're going to come back. We're probably going to see, no matter how far away from this point we get over the coming days or the next week, we're probably going to come right back to it and through it one way or another the following week, right? Like if next week we're down here, the following week we're going to be back up here. If next week we're up here, following week we're going to be through here. We're going to cross through it one way or another. I would say, even though it's neutral, I would say the RSI is kind of taking a bearish turn. You could come down and find support down here, down at this area. Maybe we even break through that. That's possible as well, because it is so funky, which would imply a little bit lower. That doesn't necessarily get us below these lows, though. Let's see. Let's look at this low. Low here. We're going to take this high, not the fake out high. Golden ratio bounce once. I mean, from a Fibonacci perspective, statistically speaking, we likely would at least go down here, if not somewhere down here. Until we get above the 236, really. I mean, you get above the 382, there's hope, but really until you get above the 236, the thought, in my opinion, should be that we go to 68.3 to 67.8, if not 66 to 64.7K. Somewhere in there. And I mean, that could happen again over the next like 7 days. I'm not getting too much off for 4 hour. There is reason enough to even suspect that we move up from here, because we have prior support, prior resistance, prior resistance, prior resistance, prior support. We've got the golden ratio. We're oversold. We are right at the 0, so this could be a false cross. Sometimes the MACD does weird things whenever you're doing choppy sideways stuff. It's not easy. We don't really have a directional heading. You guys remember everybody who was drawing this line the other day? Everybody who was drawing this line. And they said we were breaking out. Well, now they're going to be drawing this line. Or maybe this line, whatever it is. And then once we go below that low, they're going to say we're breaking out. Really, the line to focus on, I think, would be, and even this line, it doesn't really deserve too much focus, is this line. I wouldn't be surprised if right as soon as we got below this level, that's when we found support, and that's whenever we moved up. And from a low to a high, I mean, that's right at our golden ratio zone. So that kind of makes sense to me. That is about 66 to 64.5K, which we have other fibs to determine targets there as well. Rejecting the overbought zone is not good. Finding support off the 40 is good, but if you find support off the 40, you typically want to go to the 60, maybe to the 50 and bounce, or maybe just through the 60. But if you can't even get to the 60 and you're coming back below the 50, that is bearish. I mean, maybe it's time to consider that this break of this trend here might mean a little bit more than we've given it credit for, or that this retracement is over and that we are in fact moving down. I could see it. I think that we actually might continue to move down, guys. Daily time frame's helping out a little bit. The stochastics suck. The MACD, guys, we got the oddest thing ever, and it's no coincidence that we're getting odd things in such a choppy sideways range, where you literally had yesterday the false cross to the downside verified. And if today closes like this, the only way we fix this is if we close green today. And there's still a lot of time. There's still 11 and a half hours left in this day. Anything could happen. But we got a false cross down, and then we got a false cross up, and now we're moving down. It's kind of funny. Very, very funny. So if anybody's trading and they feel like they're having a hard time trading, I mean, indicators are less reliable whenever you're moving sideways. I'm going to stick with it, though. I think we are going to move down. I think that's what's going to happen. Yep. Low to high here. Yeah, 65.6 to 64.5K. I think it's time to call a spade a spade. That's where we're going, guys. Yep. Yep. Hit that like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. I'll see you on the next one. Those are my suspicions. But I don't think that we'll break any lower than that. I mean, we can, and it's okay if we do. I really don't think that what's going to come right now is a massive breakout to the downside, though. I could be wrong, but I'm not seeing that happen. We'll see. Time will tell. Take care. Bye-bye.